We're back for our weekly NFL predictions for week number 8 of the NFL season. We've got 6 teams on bye this week: the Detroit Lions, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Los Angeles Rams, Arizona Cardinals, Seattle Seahawks, and Jacksonville Jaguars. So some pretty good teams, some teams, and the Raiders aren't playing this week. Anyways, we still have 13 games for week number 8 of the NFL season. And folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more NFL content here on the channel. Again, every single Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, our NFL predictions. On Saturday, we post our best bets for money lines and spreads at noon. And then later in the day, we have at 5 p.m. Pacific, we post our best player props for the week as well. So make sure to join us on Saturday for that. Also on the channel, folks, we are loaded with content now. Our college football predictions were posted yesterday. Over 4 hours of week 9 college football predictions. You're not going to want to miss that. Also, earlier today, we posted our NBA best bets. Yes, the NBA season starts tonight, so we posted our NBA best bets with the Oklahoma City Thunder taking on the Houston Rockets and the Golden State Warriors taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. Also, again, daily MLB best bets return on late Thursday night, or I guess Thursday night. Obviously, preparing for game number 1 of the World Series on Friday night. And also on Greedo Plays MMA this week, our UFC 321 predictions: Tom Aspinall taking on Cyril Gane in the main event from Abu Dhabi. Okay, on to the first of our 13 predictions here for week number 8. Kicking things off with our Thursday night game from Los Angeles, or Inglewood, California, as we've got the Los Angeles Chargers at home as 3-point favorites against the Minnesota Vikings. I have a feeling this line is going to move down to 2.5 in favor of the Chargers, but they are at home taking on Minnesota. I think the Chargers win the football game. I think the Chargers win it, and I think they cover. I think the biggest story of this Thursday night football game for me is who is the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. Carson Wentz played his worst game, by far worst game, as the starting quarterback of Minnesota last week against Philadelphia. And yes, he threw for 300 plus yards, but if you watch that game and the mistakes and the interceptions Carson Wentz throws, it's not that encouraging of an effort. There was talk about Max Brosmer, the rookie out of the University of Minnesota, having to play because he was the backup quarterback last week because Wentz is dealing with an injury. And then there's J.J. McCarthy, who was healthy enough to dress out to be the third-string emergency quarterback, but obviously not healthy enough to start. So who's starting this week? Is it McCarthy? Is it Wentz? Or could it be Brosmer? I don't know. That's the thing. I'm sure the NFL, when they put this game together, at least put this game on Thursday Night Football, or when Amazon Prime got this game, they were really excited for J.J. McCarthy versus Harbaugh. Obviously, they won a national championship together at the University of Michigan, and now here we are. We might get Max Brosmer, who also played in the Big Ten. Well, actually didn't play in the Big Ten when Harbaugh was around. He played at the University of New Hampshire. But Minnesota versus Los Angeles, and what type of matchup do we get? Regardless of who starts at quarterback, I'm taking the Chargers. Who do I want to start at quarterback? Probably Max Brosmer. Nothing against the guy. He was a phenomenal quarterback at the University of New Hampshire. When he went to Minnesota, he was pretty decent last season. I would want, again, I'm picking the Chargers. I want Brosmer to start. That's the guy who I want. First start on the road, Thursday Night Football. That's ultimately who I think would be the best guy for the Chargers to beat. Who do I think it's going to be? I think it's going to be Carson Wentz. I think it's going to be Wentz. This will probably be his last start for Minnesota. I think they lose, and then that's when they can say, all right, we don't need, we can officially make the move from Wentz to McCarthy. That's just what makes sense. That's what the script says for this game, right? McCarthy, it was limited in practice on Monday with the ankle injury still. Carson Wentz was limited as well with the left shoulder injury. And yes, Max Brosmer, obviously a full participant. He will move back to the third-string quarterback when Wentz and McCarthy are fully healthy. But again, who starts for this team? I don't know. It's an injury-ridden Minnesota squad who were in the game with Philadelphia, but the Eagles and what Jalen Hurts was able to do in the past game to Devontae Smith made the difference. And obviously, the Philadelphia run game is still a problem, to say the least. More on them later. But Jalen Hurts won the game with his arm. Props to him, something that we knew Philadelphia was going to need to have to do if they were going to beat Minnesota, and they do. The Los Angeles Chargers lose at home last week to the Indianapolis Colts. Guys, you know who has the best record in football right now? Yes, it is the Colts, and I'm sure that will only continue because they play the Tennessee Titans this week. More on that later. Anyways, the Los Angeles Chargers are now a 4-3 football team. They started 3-0, and now they have been losers in 3 out of their last 4 games, losing in the Meadowlands to the New York Giants, losing to the Washington Commanders, going to Miami and winning a game where, again, if they didn't have Justin Herbert, they would have lost, and then, of course, losing to the Colts, where Justin Herbert threw for 420 yards. He threw a couple one bad interception, but again, that's just how good the Colts are, right? Herbert doesn't have a bad game. He could have played better, sure, but I think the Chargers are going to be just fine. Look at the teams they're playing coming up. Minnesota, Tennessee, Pittsburgh at home. They should get that. Jacksonville on the road, Vegas. This team's going to be fine. They're still a postseason team. Again, I still am a believer right now in the 3 playoff bid. AFC West, obviously, with Los Angeles, Denver, who somehow found a way to win last week, and unfortunately the Kansas City Chiefs. But anyways, no, the Chiefs, they looked good last week. They did. Anyways, the Chargers, I think, will be fine in this spot. I believe they're going to beat Minnesota. I am a little concerned because it is literally just Justin Herbert. The O-line sucks as Indianapolis continuously got to Justin Herbert the entire game. His receiving core drops everything. I mean, I'm watching, tight ends drop passes, even though Oronde Gadsden might actually be the solution at tight end for that team. I'm still watching Quentin Johnston drop footballs. Like, can we get Justin Herbert just a little bit of help? Just a little bit. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, I think Los Angeles should be able to win this game at home. I think a lot of what their loss was last week is they ran into the best team in the NFL right now. Maybe it's the Detroit Lions, but I don't know. I mean, look how good Indianapolis is. They are a 6-1 football team that just continues to win. I'm not that against Los Angeles right now. I think they're going to be fine. The Chargers are still a playoff team in my opinion, and Justin Herbert is still a top 5 quarterback in the sport. Give me Los Angeles Chargers to win at home and cover 3 points against right now the Vikings, who I think everything is up in the air for them right now. So give me Los Angeles. Next up, we go on to the Sunday games, and no London, no Europe, none of that this week. Thankfully, every game's on Red Zone now. I don't really like the 6 a.m. games because, to be honest, I don't get up for them. I don't watch them live because I need to get some sleep. So I'm kind of glad we're off of that until at least I think week 10. In a couple weeks we're back. I think a game in Munich, Germany or something, or Berlin. I don't know. Regardless, somewhere in Germany, I think. Anyways, we start things off. They should have sent this. Actually, I take back what I said. They could have sent this game to Germany. I would not care. Dolphins, Falcons. The Falcons will win, and the Falcons will cover. Rock bottom is an understatement for the Miami Dolphins right now. Actually, no, we're going to talk about a team in a second that has actually hit rock bottom. The Miami Dolphins lose in the conditions against the Cleveland Browns. My apologies. I took the Dolphins last week. I'm done taking the Dolphins. Why is Zach Wilson a third-string quarterback? Huh? He was third-string in Denver because Jared Stidham. Why is Quinn Ewers ahead of Zach Wilson? Make it make sense. I don't know why every team hates Zach Wilson. Why? Quinn Ewers is not good. Oh my goodness. Anyways, so I don't care about Tua potentially getting benched anymore because it's not Zach Wilson as the backup quarterback. They said, I said, oh yeah, Quinn Ewers be the backup. Yeah, okay, whatever. Go Tua, go, I guess. 3 interceptions against the Cleveland Browns. He's closing his eyes and throwing it. I feel like everyone's fed up in Miami right now. They're really the only production you get out of anybody's Devon Achane. Oh, by the way, add now a Darren Waller injury to the mix. Started him in fantasy, got me a whole goose egg, got me 0 points. Just like Luke McCaffrey, I had 2 guys give me goose eggs this week. Still won though, because I don't know. I don't know how I did it this week. Anyways, I won a very low scoring affair. Shout out to my defense. Hey, I didn't even start the Browns defense either. I started the Patriots defense and it came through. Got me like 20 points. Anyways, the Dolphins lost 6-31 to the lowly Cleveland Browns, and the Browns suck. They do. And Dylan Gabriel throws for 116 yards. Awesome. More on them later. I don't think the Dolphins beat the Falcons. I know Atlanta can't score. Michael Penix is all right. He's all right. Bijan got bottled up by the Niners, who continue to find a way with a bunch of injuries. I am very impressed about what the 49ers are doing right now. And Atlanta goes on Sunday Night Football. They had opportunities, don't get me wrong. They had a bunch of opportunities, and they just really couldn't convert. They lose the game 10-20 in a game, again, that felt wide open for them. They should blow out the Dolphins. I mean, you're in Atlanta. You're at home. A very rare 2 left-handed quarterback matchup between Penix and Tagovailoa this week. But, I mean, I watched the Dolphins, and I'm like, this is one of the worst teams in the sport right now. And look who their only win is, the New York Jets. The Falcons, again, they might not be very good. They are 3rd right now in the NFC South. I mean, and I guess they are a pretty clear 3rd because they went to Carolina a month ago and got blown out. I don't know. I feel like that Bills game was kind of a fluke. I don't know. I feel like that was kind of a fluky game. I don't know. Their offense, it doesn't wow me. Like, even that Bills game where, the defense looked really good. And defense looked good last week, too. They held San Francisco to 20 points. They don't really score. except for the Commanders game. But I mean, as we saw last week, well, anybody can score in Washington. I don't know. I don't dislike Michael Penix. I think he's a talent. Obviously, again, straight pocket passer, which is very rare in the sport nowadays. And obviously, again, Penix will not run because of the double torn ACL. Obviously, torn ACLs that happened at at Indiana University. But I mean, they've got the talent to win this football game. I mean, here's what this comes down to, right? We have one team that's 1-6 and sucks and who hasn't won a game on the road so far this year versus the Atlanta Falcons, who, again, may not be cream of the crop, but still a decent enough football team. They're a 500 football team, and it's a game I'd be very shocked the Atlanta Falcons wouldn't go out and win. Okay, they will be fine. I know Penix is injured. Again, I think he's questionable. I'd be surprised if he didn't play. Yeah, again, the Falcons have got this. They have all this talent. And now, again, they don't buy into, oh, they're going to win the South, because that's the Fell For It Again award every single year. But they've got enough talent to beat the crappy Miami Dolphins. So give me the Falcons to win the game at home in Atlanta. Next up, we go to Cincinnati, Ohio, to Paycor Stadium for the Cincinnati Bengals and the New York Jets. Is it time we start to get excited about the Bengals? It might be time, guys. In a wide open AFC North, the Bengals might win it. I'm so serious. The Bengals might win the division. Something that we were not even thinking about a couple weeks ago when Joe Burrow went down. They're 3-4, and they're one game out of first place in the North. And the Packers are favored to beat the Steelers on Sunday Night Football this week. Again, more on that at the end of the video. Just saying, the Bengals are right in it right now. And you brought in Joe Flacco for a reason, to be that bridge to Joe Burrow. And here you go. I mean, I'm taking this Bengals offense right now against pretty much every other offense in football. Like, I think in shootouts, yes, the Bengals can prevail. Look what just happened on Thursday Night Football. The Unk Bowl won by Joe Flacco and the Cincinnati Bengals. Again, Flacco made the most of that situation a couple years ago in Cleveland. He was all right. It could have been better last year in Indianapolis, don't get me wrong. Like, he's no Indiana Jones. But it's hard for this to not work for Flacco in Cincinnati. Again, a guy who should be in the Hall of Fame, but a top 13 passing yards, player of all time. He just passed Fran Tarkenton and Russell Wilson on the all-time passing list. So crazy stuff out of Flacco. But he's thrown to Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and now, Chase Brown has been unlocked out of the backfield too. Do I still have my doubts about the Bengals defense? Undoubtedly, sure, but it's not like that's going to be too much of a problem this week. But the Bengals, I mean, look at their schedule now. I'm like, all right, this can get interesting, right? Jets should be a win. Next week, Bears in Cincinnati. The Bears are playing good. I'm going to take the Bengals. Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, I don't know. Patriots at home, that's a winnable game. Patriots are good, but Bengals at home with Flacco, winnable. Thursday Night Football, at least Thanksgiving in Baltimore, winnable. In Buffalo, In Baltimore at home, winnable. In Miami, winnable. Cardinals, winnable. Browns, winnable. I mean, guys, it's not far-fetched to say the Bengals are going to win 10 or 11 games this season. Ooh, 11's kind of a stretch. 10 games. And at 10-7, you might get in, considering the AFC North and how everyone loses games in the AFC North because they play such, gritty, tough football. I'm saying there's a chance the Bengals could get in this year. 100%. And you got to give a lot of credit to what Joe Flacco is able to do. Again, the game Flacco plays on Thursday Night Football, 342 passing yards. And all of a sudden, here comes Chase Brown with his best rushing yardage day of the year, 110 yards on the ground. Jamar Chase, 160 yards on his 15 catches. I got to give a lot of credit to what the Bengals are doing, man. I like it. I do. Big win at home on Thursday Night Football, and you've rejuvenated now an entire fan base that is getting behind Joe Flacco. The New York Football Jets. 0-7, and yes, 0-17 is possible. I've done it before. I've talked about their entire schedule. The one scare, I think, is the Miami Dolphins on Week 14 in New York or East Rutherford. That's the one I get concerned about, and the Cleveland Browns on Week 10. I get scared about that one too, just because it's the Browns. But they're not going into the bye week with a victory. They're not beating the Bengals on the road. New York is an 0-7 football team. Last week, my favorite play of the week was Carolina Panthers money line. I don't know why that game was even. I didn't understand. It made zero sense to me. And the Panthers won the game 13-6. They were going to win it 13-3, but Carolina kept finding ways to get the Jets back in the football game by throwing on 3rd and 1. It made no sense. Anyways, though, the Panthers easily win the football game. That score is, that game's not as close as the score indicates. And now the Jets, we have a quarterback controversy. and I don't know if that's a good quarterback controversy to have. It's Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor. Who's the starting quarterback? Oh, who are you throwing to? Josh Reynolds, Arian Smith, Mason Taylor, Alan Lazard, Tyler Johnson. I feel for Breece Hall, man. He's trying on the squad, but doesn't really know where to go because of how bad the offensive line is. If I had to guess, I think they're going to start Tyrod Taylor. I think they're going to go Tyrod Taylor over Justin Fields. I think, unfortunately, Fields' time as a starting quarterback in this league is up. Of course, they benched Fields last week against the Carolina Panthers because he was playing horribly, and at least the offense moved the ball a little bit better with Tyrod Taylor, even though Taylor threw an interception to J.C. Horn. But I mean, both quarterbacks threw interceptions to Horn. Actually, no, it was Tyrod who threw both of them to Horn. Oh my goodness. Maybe they start Fields. It doesn't matter who they start. I'll say this. When I'm watching that game, and yes, I was watching Red Zone, but I was really eyeing in on Panthers versus Jets, which is one hell of a way to spend your Sunday. When I'm watching that game, I'm like, oh crap, Fields is out. It concerned me when Fields came out of the football game. Because I was like, oh goodness, now Tyrod Taylor, who's a vet's going to come in. Because Fields is a below average passer. He wasn't really dominating Carolina on the ground. And that offense is just horrible. And Aaron Glenn, man, I don't know. I don't think he's going to be a one and done. He might be a one and done. This team is hopeless. They're horrible. Give me the Cincinnati Bengals to completely put belt to ass this week. Joe Flacco, Jamar Chase. The Bengals are going to put up 30-plus points. The Jets will struggle to put up 14, even against a poor Cincinnati defense. Bengals win and cover at home against the Jets. Next up, we go to Foxborough. Okay, I guess not Foxborough. We'll come back to that later. We go to Lincoln Financial Field here in Philadelphia, as we've got the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the New York Giants. I guess I got my order mixed up. It's fine. I'm going to be taking the Giants to cover on the road. The winner, probably the Eagles. But guys, the Giants are now, I think, going to fall into the category of just really fun teams who lose. Is that a bad, spot to be in? Kind of. But I think that's kind of what the Giants are going to be. They're going to be a really fun team that plays competitive football games, and, they're good enough just to lose. Because last week, choke job of the century for the New York Football Giants at Mile High against the Denver Broncos. Guys, this team had a 99.8% chance to win the football game, according to ESPN's win probability. They were up 19-0 in the fourth quarter. How they were up 26-8 in the fourth quarter, and somehow they lost. They scored a touchdown with 30 seconds to go, but you left 30 seconds on the clock, and that's just too much time. But if Jude McAdamy, the Irish starting kicker for the New York Giants, could have hit an extra point, the second one he missed all game long, that game would have been tied going into overtime. The problem is your kicker misses. The Denver Broncos score 33 points in the game. All 33 occur in the fourth quarter. And sure, you can say, oh, Jackson Dart threw a bad interception. Well, he led his team down the field in the fourth quarter to win the football game, and his kicker missed an extra point, and his defense played in soft-ass zone coverage and let Bo Nix, dink it, not really dink and dime, just find his way downfield and score. What's going on with the catcher position? The kicker position. I believe they're going to go to Younghoe Koo. That is the assumption out of New York right now. That I guess Brian Daboll said the Giants will evaluate their kicking situation. I can't imagine you're going to any other kicker but Younghoe Koo. I don't know why you signed Younghoe Koo, who is a former Pro Bowler and statistically one of the most accurate kickers of all time. I get it, 2024 is not great for Younghoe Koo, but I don't know why you would not go to him, and you go to an unknown in Jude McAdamy. Again, Graham Gano, the starting kicker, is on the IR, but it's not like Gano was very good before his injury. I think you just need to commit to number 37, Younghoe Koo as the starting kicker in New York. Anyways, they're in Philadelphia here. The Eagles figured it out last week. I was very, on this team and critical of this team, and they played really good football in Minnesota. That is a difficult Vikings team to go out and beat, and my goodness, the throws Jalen Hurts is making last week, phenomenal. 326 yards for Jalen Hurts, 19-23 passing. The run game's a problem. It is. Saquon Barkley, 18 carries, 44 yards. I get there's a couple carries at the end of the game that they weren't really trying to get a push on, but it felt like Saquon was still trying to get through, and he just couldn't. I don't know, man. That run game's a problem. Barkley it's not a Saquon thing. Well, is it? I don't know. Their O-line their pass blocking all right. Ooh, their run block's horrible. But again, the biggest problem with this team was the pass game. And it was, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown not getting the appropriate amount of targets. Well, Devontae Smith had 11 targets for 9 catches and 183 yards. A.J. Brown had 6 targets for 4 catches and 121 yards. You're going to take that. A.J. Brown had 2 touchdowns. Devontae Smith had a touchdown as well. He had that big shot over the top, obviously. The 79-yard touchdown to Devontae Smith in the third quarter. It was a very good game for the Philadelphia Eagles. They pressured Carson Wentz. They forced Carson Wentz to look bad. He threw 2 bad interceptions in that football game. And again, it's the best I've seen Philadelphia look all year long because of the fact where, I know they won early in the season against Dallas, against Kansas City, but that was when they are going in their super boring mode, and they're just barely winning games in low-scoring affairs. I liked what they did in Minnesota. They just got to get that run game now really going. Also, quick side note, I guess, Brandon Graham's back. Played 15 years for the Eagles. He's coming back again, comes out of retirement. Apparently this was discussed over the offseason a little bit. But Brandon Graham is going to return again. In what capacity will he be playing in? I don't know, but they do get a former Pro Bowler back in Brandon Graham, who again has been with Philadelphia since 2010. He returns for his 16th season. I don't think he'll play against the Giants, but maybe he does. I like the Giants still quite a bit, though. I like Jackson Dart. I think Cam Scatterville, again, CTE guy, is just CTE, running back it's okay. The Giants are fun. That's all, honestly, that's all that matters with them right now. Like, they're a fun young team, and they're only going to be better. We saw this matchup 2 weeks ago, and the Giants won outright by 17 points. I get it, the game was in New York, and now we're in Philly. I think the Giants cover, but I think the Eagles ultimately win. Plus 7.5 for the New York Football Giants, but the winners of this game, again, I believe are going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. Next up, we move on to the aforementioned game that I switched the order for. The New England Patriots are at home taking on the Cleveland Browns. The Patriots are 6.5-point favorites at home, and I believe that they should cover. Guys, look at the way Drake May's playing right now. Is Drake May an elite quarterback in football right now? I think he has to be. I think undoubtedly you have to consider Drake May elite. Now, do I want to put him in the top 5 yet? Not yet. But man, Drake May breaks the record, the New England Patriots franchise record for highest completion percentage in Patriots history on over 20 passing attempts. And yes, he's got 21 for 23, is a better completion percentage than Tom Brady ever had in New England. Now, again, Drake May didn't put up the yards Tom Brady did on a nightly basis, but it's okay. Drake May, 21 for 23 passing for 222 yards and 2 touchdowns. Big win for New England in Tennessee. Big win for head coach Mike Vrabel, winning, obviously, in Nashville, the franchise that fired him for, I don't know why, whatever. I don't know why they did that still. But a huge win for the Patriots, and now they are 5-2. Of course, they are at top of the AFC East, and they've put together 4 consecutive victories over Carolina, Buffalo, New Orleans, and Tennessee. And their schedule is so easy. They have a cakewalk of a schedule. Yeah, they go to Tampa in a couple weeks, but this is a relatively easy schedule for New England for the rest of the season. And the easy schedule continues. Again, I'm not hating on the Patriots. I like what they're doing. I love what Drake May's been doing this season. He's been excellent. They're playing the Cleveland Browns. Yes, great defense in Cleveland. That's pretty much all I can say about this football team. Their defense is good. Last week, they win 31-6, and no, I got to give a lot of credit, how can I forget, to Quinshon Judkins. The rookie out of Ohio State has been tremendous this season. He got a heavy workload last week against the Miami Dolphins. Judkins, 25 carries for 84 yards and 3 touchdowns. Harold Fannin was the leading receiver for Cleveland, and I get it, again, it was windy, it was rainy, it was a very tough environment to play in, but Fannin was your leading receiver with 36 yards and 4 catches. Dylan Gabriel. Oh, Dylan Gabriel. 13 for 18 passing for 116 yards. I guess they just don't want to change the culture. I don't know. No, it's okay. Gabriel, again, I think he's earned another start. He obviously did not do anything that poorly in the New England game. We need to come to the realization, guys, that Dylan Gabriel will be starting until Deshaun Watson comes back. That's what's going to happen, guys. Like, Deshaun Watson's going to come back in, week 14, week 13. Everyone's going to forget about him. Oh, Shador. And trust me, I want Shador more than anybody. They are going to Deshaun Watson next, okay? Because this is what's going to happen. The Browns, they're going to lose this game to the Patriots, right? They just don't have the firepower to win this football game. Not at all. They don't have the offense to win this game. Yeah, their defense might keep them in this game so they can hang around New England, but the Patriots offense eventually will break through, and there's only so much the Browns can do to just, keep their team in the football game and just hang on. What's going to happen, though, the Browns are going to go through their stretch. They'll beat the Jets coming out of the bye week with Gabriel because the Jets suck. even though I'm a little scared about that. But then they're going to start losing some games. Like, they're going to lose to Baltimore. I have a weird feeling they're going to go to Vegas and lose. They'll lose to the Niners. And then, okay, you've lost 3 games in a row. You are, let's say, 3-8, 3-9, 3-8. And, okay, here comes Deshaun Watson, because Gabriel's going to struggle, and he's going to be, they lost to the Raiders in Vegas. This should be Shador's time. Everyone thinks it's going to be Sanders. Nope, Deshaun Watson's back. Oh, we got a franchise quarterback back in Cleveland. And everyone's going to be pissed. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to be mad too. I'm going to be so mad. This is what losing franchises do. Browns, Jets, they ruin young quarterbacks. So if Browns aren't going to be in the quarterback picking business for a little bit. If the New York Jets take Fernando Mendoza, oh my goodness, I better see Fernando Mendoza return home to Miami and be a Dolphin next season. That's what better happen. But this is what losing franchises do. You can't figure out your quarterback position. You can't get a franchise guy because you're a losing culture and you're a losing team. You're a losing franchise. They're going to go to New England. They're going to get spanked. Okay. They're going to get destroyed. The Patriots are a much better football team. New England's playing great defense, and Drake Man, the offense is going. I'm concerned about this team down the stretch, and if they make the playoffs, which they should, I'm concerned about their run game. They don't have it. They rely a lot on what Drake May is able to do, and again, he can take you very far, but I think they're very one-dimensional, and once again, teams take the Patriots more seriously, at least in terms of like a postseason environment. They are going to get got soon, at least in the playoffs. Regular season-wise, though, the Patriots are going to be very good. I think, the Bills get him a second time around. I think Buffalo probably beats them, but I don't know, man. The Buffalo defense is just so bad, and we'll talk about the Bills in a second, but I don't know. I'm going to take New England here minus 6.5. Again, I don't love their outlook for the postseason, but they will get there, and that should be a step in the right direction. Again, Vrabel's done a tremendous job this year. And here are the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo's a 7.5-point favorite on the road in Carolina after a season worst performance, and maybe a career worst performance, honestly, for Josh Allen, at least since Josh Allen's rookie season. Last week in Atlanta was horrible for the Buffalo Bills. I have not seen Josh Allen play worse. The defense surprisingly did kind of keep them in the game, but I mean, as a whole, that defense is not good. And the offense looks out of sorts. I don't love what Joe Brady's doing. I think McDermott should be on the hot seat right now. And yes, you're a 4-2 football team, but you're a 4-2 football team, and your wins are the Ravens, Jets, Dolphins, and Saints, and your losses are the Patriots and the Falcons. You get a great opportunity this week to beat a team that you should beat in the Carolina Panthers, a team that does have a 4-3 record, but a team that's playing on a backup quarterback this week. Obviously, that's the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton. Bryce Young is doubtful, so I highly doubt he plays. He exited that game against the New York Jets, and Dalton did finish it with a high ankle sprain. What I've seen is that the Young injury is not serious, but he's definitely not expected to play this week. So I assume we will see Bryce Young back maybe in a week or two. Maybe they don't send him out to Lambeau Field. Expect him back for a easy re-entry game, week 10 at home against the New Orleans Saints. So I think we're going to get 2 weeks here of the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton. And unfortunately for the Panthers, I believe they're going to go 0-2 with Andy Dalton as their starting quarterback. Their offense just took a huge step back last week against the New York Jets, and that's not because the Jets have a good defense. That's because they decided, you know what we had the last 2 weeks that was working. We've seen the most success all year long. We found a running back in Rico Dowdle who's going to run for 200 yards a game, and obviously that's not going to carry the entire season, but we found something that really works. We're going to give this guy the ball 24 times, and he's going to rip off big runs. You then proceed to go and split carries between Dowdle and Rico and Chuba Hubbard last week. And if Chuba had, and again, I like Chuba. I have Chuba in a dynasty league. He's stashed. I really don't use him. If both these guys ripped off the same amount of yardage and same yards per carry, okay, that's fine. Use both of them, right? Back in the old days, right? Not old days, but like back when they had, D'Angelo Williams and it was Jonathan Cooper, I believe. I could be wrong. I know it was D'Angelo Williams and somebody. I think it was Jonathan Cooper. I might be blanking on a name there. Anyways, I know like when they were good with I believe that was like the Delhomme era. It's definitely not Jonathan Cooper. Oh my God, it was Vilma. Was it not Vilma? Sorry, I'm not a Panthers historian. No, Vilma's a linebacker. Who am I? Wasn't there Vilma as a running back? I apologize. I'm blanking on D'Angelo Williams' number 2 running. Like it was D'Angelo Williams and it was someone else. It was a 1-2 punch. Again, I'm not a Carolina Panthers historian. I apologize for this one. I should know that. Regardless, that's what the Panthers are going for, right? No, Rico Dowdle right now is the number 1 back. He needs to be the number 1 back. Rico Dowdle, 17 carries for 79 yards. Chuba Hubbard, 14 carries for 31 yards. Are we serious? Are we serious? You have a guy who's giving you 200 yards a game. giving you 200 yards a game. And Jonathan Stewart, who's who I was looking for. My goodness, I said Jonathan Vilma. That's bad. That's really bad. Yeah, it's bad. I forgot about Jonathan Stewart. Again, I remember like D'Angelo Williams for that team. Anyways, regardless, Jonathan Stewart, he was on the Super Bowl team, wasn't he? Yeah. He didn't really have... He was starting running back for that team too. Holy crap, that's horrible. I apologize. Again, not a Panthers historian. But you found something that works. Keep going to Dowdle. No, we got to get Chuba his snaps too. Okay. You're at home. I think Dalton, again, I honestly don't believe the drop-off. There's not much of a drop-off from Bryce Young and Andy Dalton. I'm a big believer in the Red Rifle. I don't think he played that poorly when he came in. I mean, Andy Dalton had a gutsy and a ballsy 3rd-and-2 conversion where they heaved it 30 yards downfield for a first down. I believe it was to Leggett, who had a really big game in New York at the Meadowlands. Xavier Leggett, 9 catches for 92 yards. Again, he can be a major part of that offense. I think the Panthers, I think they're a good team. I think they're an okay team, but Buffalo coming off a bye week, you've been completely focused in on the Carolina Panthers for weeks at this point. I think they go into Carolina and they win. I think we see Josh Allen have a big step up in a performance. Obviously, Allen is now, falling in the MVP race, and I guess it's going to be Patrick Mahomes' award. I don't know what he's done to win it, but Baker Mayfield dropped to 4th in the MVP. Oh, it's how? He had one bad game where Mike Evans got injured. I mean, what do you want out the guy? Mahomes is plus 135 to win the MVP. Why is Daniel Jones 8th? Daniel Jones oh my goodness. Daniel Jones is plus 2,200 to win the MVP. They're 6-1. Oh my goodness. Anyways. Stafford too. Stafford's playing great, but Mahomes. Whatever. Again, Mahomes is good. It's just like, how is he that big of a favorite to win the MVP? I'm taking Buffalo minus 7.5. I mean, they should be back this week, I assume, against Carolina. Panthers on a backup quarterback. Again, I don't think Dalton's that horrible, but their offense looked horrible last week against the Jets. 13 points against New York. I mean, come on. I'm going to be taking Bills on the road minus 7.5 in Carolina. Next up, we move on to Baltimore, as we got the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Chicago Bears. So a lot of uncertainty right now with Baltimore in terms of who's going to play and who's not going to play. Obviously, their defense is very banged up, and the biggest question of them all is Lamar Jackson playing this week. So the report I saw on Lamar Jackson is he did not practice on Monday, even though I don't think teams have to report what they're doing on Monday practices in the NFL. Regardless, though, Lamar did not practice on Monday, coming off of a bye week, obviously, for the Baltimore Ravens. They desperately need Lamar back. I mean, they have been horrible without Lamar Jackson. Teams usually don't practice on Monday, but again, with the bye, that's why Baltimore was practicing on Monday. 4 straight L's for Baltimore. You're a 1-5 team with their only victory being over the lowly Cleveland Browns in Baltimore. Losses, obviously, to Buffalo, Detroit, Kansas City, Houston, and Los Angeles. Now, the schedule does get a lot easier from here, but you just have a bunch of road games coming up. You get the Bears at home. That concludes a 3-game home stretch, and then you go 4 straight games on the road. Thursday night in Miami, on the road in Minnesota, and then on the road in Cleveland before returning home for 3 more home games. Who made this schedule? This is stupid. Anyways, though, the big question is, does Lamar Jackson play? But even if he does play, guys, I don't think the Bears should be 6.5-point underdogs here. And I know that's crazy. If you watch every single week, I'm very critical of the Chicago Bears. Watch the Bears play. They should not be 6.5-point dogs. Not at all. Against the Ravens team right now, which, okay, even if Lamar plays, yes, that changes, again, the whole mindset around Baltimore, but it gives the Ravens an actual belief that, okay, we can win the football game when your multi-time MVP is playing. The thing about this, though, is, again, Lamar's not going to fix your defense. Yeah, you held the Rams at 17 points a couple weeks ago. You let the Houston Texans put up 44 points on you. Last night, I watched the Houston Texans fail to convert every single red zone possession they had, every single third down. The Texans suck. CJ Stroud, he continues to regress. Sophomore slump, third-year slump. I don't know what's going on with CJ Stroud, given his team's not very good either. Regardless, though, Lamar's not going to fix your defense. Again, remember week 1, they lost Sunday Night Football in Buffalo? Lamar plays a good game. Baltimore scores 40 points. You lose because your defense gives up 41 points. You lose the Lions because Detroit scores 38 on you. The Chiefs score 37. Houston scores 44. You still have injuries on that defense. And yes, Lamar Jackson gives you the best chance to win. Right now, the Chicago Bears are the only team in the NFL to score at least 21 points in every single game they've played so far this year. They scored, given they have not really gone over this number by that much, but hey, model of consistency, at least in Chicago. 24 points against the Vikings, 21 in that loss to the Lions, and then four consecutive wins for the Bears, 31 against the Cowboys, 24 victories in back-to-back weeks against the Raiders and the Commanders, and the last week a 26-14 victory over the New Orleans Saints. Yes, the Bears kind of do the same thing every single week. They win, like, medium-scoring games. That's one way to put it. The Bears are running the football now. They are pounding the rock. And again, that's the best thing you can do for a young quarterback and a second-year quarterback in Caleb Williams. Give him a competent run game. DeAndre Swift, Kyle Monangai from Rutgers, they're actually running the ball now well. Again, Swift, 19 carries, 124 yards, and a touchdown. Monangai, 13 carries, 81 yards, and a touchdown again for the rookie. That's big time for the Bears. And obviously, right, I mean, Ben Johnson now has found his version of Gibbs and Montgomery. Obviously, to a way lesser extent, but that's what Swift and Monangai are going to be now for Chicago. And Caleb Williams continues to get better. I know I'm hyping up a team that just beat the New Orleans Saints. I get that. And, New Orleans Saints team on the road, where Rattler threw 3 interceptions. It's not going great for the commander, but what do you really want the guy to do? He's going to get scapegoated out of a starting job. That's what's going to happen eventually because, we have Tyler Shaw. Anyways, who we picked in the second round and wasn't good enough to start over the 5th round commander. Yeah, you found a great one, didn't you, New Orleans? Regardless, though, taking the Bears to cover here. I get it, the game's in Baltimore. I don't know what the Ravens are going to be. Again, Jackson comes back. Sure, your defense still sucks. Ben Johnson's got this offense playing right now. They're playing great defensive football in Chicago as well. It's just crazy for me to say. I kind of like what the Bears are doing right now. The Bears are now the 3rd best team in the NFC. NFC North. Oh my goodness, not in the NFC. Oh my. Yeah, they're better than the Vikings. Not as good, obviously, as the Packers and the Lions, who are 1A and 1B in the NFC North by far. But give me Chicago on the road plus 6.5. It's almost disrespectful, I believe this line is, to the Bears on the road in Baltimore. Next up, let's go on to maybe my favorite best bet. Best bets are coming on Saturday. Favorite prediction of the week. The Niners are not going to Houston and losing. No way, no how do they lose in Houston, Texas. This line's going to move. So again, I'm recording this video at 3 o'clock in the morning on early Tuesday morning after Monday Night Football, right? And San Francisco 49ers obviously went on Sunday night against the Atlanta Falcons, and the Texans go to Seattle, and they hang around the Seahawks, but it really felt watching that game, they had no business being in that game with the Seahawks, right? They lose the game to Houston on the road in Seattle, and now the Houston Texans are, 2-4? Wins over Tennessee and Baltimore, which, again, Tennessee's just horrible, and Baltimore's defense is injured, and Lamar Jackson out. They've won 2 games all year long for a team that has won AFC South Championship over and over and over again. You're a 2-4 football team. Yeah, your defense isn't that bad. You force Sam Darnold to make some critical mistakes with the football, but your offense is just abysmal. How many times did the Houston Texans try to play power football against the Seattle Seahawks and fail miserably? 3rd and 1, 2nd and 1, 4th and 1. Give the ball to Woody Marks and let him run it up the middle. Oh, wait, there's nowhere to go. So again, is Stroud playing horribly? Yes. At the same time, what do you really want Stroud to do? There's not much going on. Nico Collins gets injured at the end of the game, so now we're looking at, okay, how do we get the ball to Jalen Noel? How do we get it to Jaden Higgins? How do we get it to Dalton Schultz, who's a big factor in that game, had 10 targets for 9 yards? 9 catches for 98 yards. It's getting to the point where the Houston Texans, they're throwing to Braxton Berrios. Berrios, he hasn't been injured. No, he's just been a healthy scratch every single week, and I think they should probably be using him as their kick returner. But regardless, Braxton Berrios with the Christian Kirk injury, Berrios is playing now. And they're throwing the ball to Braxton Berrios. I was just like, they're just trying to figure stuff out, but it's so hard when you don't have a run game. CJ Stroud yet again was the leading rusher for the Houston Texans, and he had 2 carries. CJ Stroud had 2 carries for 25 yards. He was the leading rusher for the Texans. I guess it's actually the first game all year long he was the leading rusher, but again, he was the leading rusher for Houston in multiple games going into the 4th quarter. Nick Chubb couldn't get going, 5 carries for 16 yards. Woody Marks definitely cannot get going, 10 carries for 15 yards. Now, Marks was a target and a threat in the passing game. Obviously had that late touchdown with 2 minutes to go against Seattle, and the Texans had a chance to potentially get back in that football game. Well, they screwed it at the end where, the defensive lineman just jumped on the pile when he didn't need to, and also when Kaimi Fairbairn couldn't kick that ball at the back of the end zone to at least save Houston a timeout. Obviously with the 2-minute warning. So a lot of missed opportunity for Houston, but they weren't going to win that game in Seattle anyways. -3 was my favorite bet of the week. It was one of my favorite bets of the week. Actually wasn't on the best bets, but it was like a bonus bet. Regardless, I loved Seattle to win that game because I've seen Seattle play and how good that offense is, and I've seen how bad Houston is. So it's only fitting. Another one of my favorite bets this week is fading the Houston Texans. The Texans suck, okay? Again, put it on Stroud or not, I don't care what you do. Look at the team. Yeah, their defense isn't bad. Well, okay, I've seen the Niners win defensive battles. I saw it against Arizona. I saw it in Seattle. I saw it last week on Sunday Night Football against the Atlanta Falcons. And my goodness, is Christian McCaffrey still elite? The question marks all year long about McCaffrey in the run game. Well, 130 yards rushing on Sunday night against the Falcons and 72 receiving yards. Yeah, McCaffrey's still that guy. All-purpose, 201 yards out of Christian McCaffrey. I mean, injuries, doesn't matter. McCaffrey still finds a way back. Who's the starting quarterback this week for the Niners? I don't know. I mean, latest report 12 hours ago from the Niners on Brock Purdy was Coach Kyle Shanahan noted Monday that the 49ers will continue monitoring Purdy's toe ahead of this coming Sunday's game against the Texans. While acknowledging at this stage the quarterback playing this weekend is viewed as a stretch. So nope, okay, Mac Jones yet again. Is it time to sound the alarms about Purdy's injury? He's played 2 games all year long, has not played since the Jacksonville loss, and don't look now, Mac Jones has this team at 4. He's 4-1 as a starter? I mean, does that need to be said? That Mac Jones is 4-1 and will probably be 5-1, and they go to East Rutherford next week to play the Giants. I don't know. Again, I don't dislike Brock Purdy, and it's not like Mac Jones is, it's not like he's playing like he's Josh Allen, but he wins games. I don't know. There's no chance in hell the Niners lose to the Texans. They're injured, and Chris Collinsworth, who makes a lot of stupid points, made a great point at the end of that Sunday Night Football game. He said, this is Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh's greatest achievement. They're winning football games with this banged-up team, and they continue to find ways. That's the truth. I give so much credit to what the 49ers have been able to do, and you get a good team who's injured taking on a bad team who just sucks and doesn't have an offensive line. I wonder what's going to happen. 49ers money line, I don't care the game's in Texas. Easy money for San Francisco on the road. -115 on the money line for San Francisco. Get this line while you can. They are 100% walking into Houston with a victory, even without Brock Purdy. But again, that's probably who you want is Mac Jones. Let's just get George Kittle more involved in the offense this week. Let's get more than 0 yards and 0 catches for Kittle. Anyways, give me the Niners. Next up, we go on to the afternoon slate. First of 3 games, I do believe, on the afternoon portion of Sunday. First up to the Superdome, as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go on the road, coming off a loss to take on the New Orleans Saints. The injuries from Tampa Bay, man, and this is why Baker Mayfield should not be number 4, number 5 in the MVP race. Look at all the injuries this guy has his team playing through, right? I get it. Bucks go to Detroit. They only score 9 points. It is what it is. Again, the Detroit Lions at their best are a great football team. And that's why I said when I was talking about that game last week on our predictions, I would not bet that game. I don't know what's going to happen. Tampa injuries, sure, but both teams are really exceptional, and I expect both teams to play again in the NFC Championship game later this season. I feel a lot more confident in Detroit getting there than Tampa, just because, man, the Buccaneers' injuries, I think by the time the playoffs roll around, this team, again, will be pretty set, and they play in a NFC South that really not concerned about anybody, winning that instead of them. Regardless, though, and we haven't even seen the Bucks get to play this crappy division until this week. Well, they played the Falcons in week 1, but they won, right? Tampa is being afforded the luxury of saving their NFC South games to the end of the season. They, for some reason, always get to play Carolina at the end of the year. I remember, Brady's last year, they played Carolina, at the very end of the season when Brady threw for 400 yards, the second to last game or third to last game ever. Regardless, though, the NFC South games come at the end of the year. They end the season with Atlanta, Carolina, Miami, and then Carolina. Here come the Saints games. They'll beat New Orleans. They'll quite easily beat New Orleans, even with the injuries, which, again, they are adding up. All of Baker's weapons are hurt. Ibuka, I don't think is 100%, but he's playing through it. Bucky's still out this week. I expect Bucky to return after the bye week where they have a huge game coming out the bye against the New England Patriots back in Tampa. But no Bucky Irving, no Chris Godwin, and the worst one of them all, Jalen McMillan's out too. But by far the worst one of them all, Mike Evans. It sucks, man. Mike Evans, for the first time in his career, will not reach 1,000 yards receiving in a season. This was the year where he was going to break Jerry Rice's record, and unfortunately, he's going to fall short. They said broken collarbone for Mike Evans yesterday. The initial report that it was a concussion plus the collarbone. I believe it was just the collarbone. I think he might have got the wind knocked out of him too initially, but regardless, it's a broken collarbone for Mike Evans. He's not out for the season. The reports are he'll probably be back like week 15-ish, but obviously the 1,000 yards are going to be way out the picture by the time he returns. So Evans should be back for the postseason run for the Buccaneers, which again, that's fine. Like, again, they'll have their guys back for the playoffs, but right now, man, the injuries keep on adding up. Again, Bucky, Evans, Godwin, McMillan. Those are 4 of your best offensive playmakers. And, right, you got Baker throwing to Emeka Ibuka, Sterling Shepard, Tez Johnson's a big part of the offense now, too. You're on a backup running back in Rachaad White, who, again, good player, but no Bucky Irving. They're adding up. They desperately need to get to this bye week, but luckily enough for Tampa, their one game before the bye week should be an easy game where they can swoop up a victory in New Orleans against the Saints, because the Saints are just playing atrocious football right now. I get it, New Orleans through most of the Tom Brady era until, honestly, Brady's last year there, had a lot of success against the Buccaneers, right? New Orleans always played well regardless of who was at quarterback. Jameis Winston, Drew Brees, Trevor Siemian, until, again, that Andy Dalton year in 22 saw a lot of success against Tampa. Well, that success has obviously gone away into the final Brady year and on to the Mayfield era. Tampa has really dominated New Orleans. And part of that is just, the Saints have gotten worse, even though they did beat Tampa late in the year in 23, didn't they? But last year, right, New Orleans does lose both games to the Buccaneers. And again, New Orleans is just deteriorating every single season. It's a big Tampa win this week, I expect. Even, as injured as they are, New Orleans is a 1-6 football team with a victory. Sure, at home against the New York Giants, but Baker will find a way to win this game. This will be one of these gutsy Baker games against a team that is just not on Tampa's level. Even with the injuries the Buccaneers have, Tampa should be able to get it done. Again, the Commanders trying. They don't have a run game. Alvin Kamara and Kendre Miller are both running for like 20 yards a game, so not much you can ask Rattler to do. Obviously, Olave is putting up big numbers, and Shaheed and Jawan Johnson are a part of that offensive scheme as well. But again, there's only so much you can ask the Commander to do. He is forced to the Commander, Spencer Rattler, is forced to create for his own play all the time, and he's throwing bad balls too. Like, again, I believe Rattler's actually doing a decent job as a starting quarterback. I like Spencer Rattler. I like the Commander quite a bit. Season-long stats, guys. The Commander's throwing at 70% completion rate for 1,450 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 4 picks, and 3 of those came last week, right? Rattler's playing good football. It's just the team's so bad, they don't have a run game, and it's so predictable what the hell the New Orleans Saints are going to pull off or try to pull off. So, again, Rattler's going to get scapegoated into being a backup for next season because, he's our problem, and then they're going to go, I don't know. Nussmeier. He went to LSU. He's supposed to be a pocket passer. We're gonna make Nussmeier our next Drew Brees. He's Drew Brees, but he's taller. And they're gonna suck still. And they're still in cap hell. So, anyways, Tampa wins and they'll blow out the Saints. Even with they probably won't blow them out. They'll find a way to win by like 7 points. Tampa minus 5.5 in New Orleans. They desperately need that bye week, and obviously they get it after this game in New Orleans. Next up, let's go to Mile High. The Denver Broncos take on the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are a weird team to pick, man. A weird team to at least, predict on a weekly basis. Because I watch Dallas and I'm like, some weeks, like last week, they look unstoppable. Hell, the Green Bay week, I know that game was a tie 40-40, but Dallas some weeks look great. And then they'll have that game in Carolina where they completely lay an egg and can't get a big drive when they need it, can't get off the field. And that's something that's going to continue to happen for the Cowboys. I am not a fan of that defense. I know Deron Bland had the big interception for a touchdown against Marcus Mariota when Mariota thought, I'm Heisman Trophy winner Kyler Murray. I was going to say prime Kyler Murray, but I felt weird saying that. I'm going to scramble around. All right, I'm going to turn back and make a huge play. And obviously, Mariota threw a pick six to Bland. More on the Commanders at the end of the video and the status, I guess, of Jaden Daniels going into their big game against the Chiefs on Monday night. Anyways, though, Cowboys beat the Commanders 44-22, but they have games where, again, they go on the road and they lose, and that might be a trend. The Cowboys are 1-3 this season on the road. Their only victory obviously being the New York Jets, where again we took Dallas quite easily. I don't know why those odds were where they were at the time. Why do the Jets get so much respect on the line when they're at home? Like, they just suck. I don't know what to say about that. Anyways, though, the Cowboys are 1-3 on the road. Again, except for the Jets, they lost in Philadelphia to the Eagles. They got blown out in Chicago against the Bears, the worst game Prescott's played all season long. And they did lose to the Carolina Panthers 30-27 just a couple weeks ago. If you can't beat the Panthers on the road, you can't beat the Bears on the road, how the hell are you going to beat the Denver Broncos on the road? Now, again, the Broncos have a bipolar offense, is what I will say about that team. They looked like crap for 3 quarters, and then in the 4th quarter, they remembered, oh, yeah, like, we have weapons. And Bo Nix can actually be pretty good sometimes. Courtland Sutton's an elite receiver in the sport. Guys, I like the Broncos quite a bit. I always rave about their defense. Their defense struggled quite a bit last week against Jackson Dart. Obviously, they made the plays when they needed to make those big plays, obviously, with that big interception. And obviously, well, they let the Giants storm down the field against them the final drive of the game. That sucks. But Denver found a way to win. And that's just what they do. They find ways. This is the best team in the AFC West right now. They're the most complete team in the AFC West. And if they can figure out this offense, yeah, Denver's going to continue to be a problem. I believe they beat the Dallas Cowboys this week. I look at what the Cowboys have done on the road this season. They've not been good. Going to Mile High is arguably the worst road environment you can go to. Obviously, with the elevation, being at altitude, it's a tough place to go on the road and win. That crowd is usually pretty rowdy. And I get it, Cowboys want to air the ball out. Javonte Williams, by the way, has been great too in the run game, but that's something that they could not do in Carolina, and that was run the football. But you add CeeDee Lamb back into the equation, George Pickens, obviously Dak Prescott playing phenomenal football right now. He should be getting looked at for being the most valuable player. But I don't think they're going to be able to beat this team. You got a great secondary in Denver, obviously. In Denver, Jackson Dart did a lot of damage on the ground. Cam Scatterview did some damage through the air. Dart had some big plays. He had that tip drill ball to, what was it, Daniel Bellinger? It was Bellinger, or was it Theo Johnson? It was either Johnson or Bellinger who had the tip drill touchdown. I believe, no, it was Theo Johnson who had the tip touchdown. Again, like, there was some luck going on for the New York Giants, don't get me wrong, in that game against Denver. It's still a really good secondary for the Broncos, really good defense. And I think, again, you're going to match a really good offense and one of the best offenses in the NFL against one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the NFL. Should be a good matchup. At the same time, though, you take on a struggling offense that I know is capable of being really good against a bad defense, okay? Don't let the Commanders game fool you. The Cowboys still have a pretty bad defense. This should be a game where Bo Nix gets really going, and the run game with Dobbins and Harvey, and obviously the pass game with Courtland Sutton and whatnot. Broncos should get going offensively, and Denver should win the football game. Should be a phenomenal game. It's one of the best games of the week. I'm going to take Denver -3 at home against the Dallas Cowboys again at Mile High Stadium. Next up, we move on to Indiana Jones. How about Daniel Jones, man? He should be the MVP frontrunner. It still should be Baker Mayfield, in my opinion. What do you want out that guy? But anyways, how about Indiana Jones? The season Daniel Jones is having right now is remarkable. 5th in the NFL in passing yards. His team's 6-1, and they have the best offense right now in the sport. It is not close. And sure, does a lot of that credit have to go to Jonathan Taylor? It does. Guys, Jonathan Taylor last week against the Los Angeles Chargers, absolutely dominant. 16 carries, 94 yards for 3 touchdowns. But how about that game Daniel Jones plays? 288 yards, 2 touchdowns, getting the ball to Michael Pittman, getting it to Tyler Warren. The best game we've seen out of, not the best game we've seen out of Pittman this year, but the most targeted game we've seen out of Michael Pittman. Get that guy the football. He's very good. Michael Pittman is 58 yards, 7 catches, 10 targets, and a touchdown. Perfect. Tyler Warren getting the ball. Alec Pierce in the deep ball. Oh my goodness. How do you beat the Indianapolis Colts right now? I mean, right now, man, there's not a better team in football right now than the Colts. And yes, they are being gifted a easy game right now against the Tennessee Titans, and that's okay because they're going to get a game on the road in Pittsburgh next week. I don't know why it's not on primetime anywhere. It's fine. But they're going to get a big game next week in Pittsburgh. That should be a fun one. But the way the Steelers defense is playing, I don't love their chances against this offense. Yes, this is a loaded offense with so many weapons. They have so many weapons I can't even count all of them. Jones, Taylor, Warren, Pierce, Pittman, A.D. Mitchell, right? Downs, who's hurt right now, but they've got so many guys in the offense. Amir Abdullah's contributing. Yes, Amir Abdullah is playing well for this team. Steichen's got all these guys going right now, man. I mean, it's crazy what an offseason can do to this team. They look unstoppable right now. It is absolutely insane. They look unstoppable. And oh man, the Tennessee Titans. Oh, I feel bad. I feel bad about this. Yeah, they're gonna get blown out. Games in Indy. We've already seen this one in Tennessee, and the Colts won 41-20. Now the Titans have to go on the road to take on the Indianapolis Colts. Good luck, I'll say. Good luck with that. I don't know. It's just, it's not a good team. I'm watching. I like Cameron Ward. I'm watching Cam Ward, guys. You know, I'm watching the ball just slip out of his hands in the end zone, which results in a safety. Sorry, that was a touchdown. If this was Will Levis, everyone's clowning him. I'm just gonna be honest here. I like Cam Ward a lot. I want Cam Ward to succeed. I really do. But if this is Will Levis, I mean, he's putting on, you know, this is going on every NFL memes page imaginable, and it's the truth. So, and towards defense, it's the same thing I kept saying about Will Levis. Like, what do you want him to do? Look at this team. It's horrible. They just released Tyler Lockett, who sure they were not using. I mean, there was no, he was getting 2 catches a game. He's going to sign with some team who needs a veteran receiver. Probably Seattle again. Like, I don't know why actually, no, probably not. He probably won't go back to Seattle. I don't know where he's going to go. He'll go somewhere. He'll go to some, actually, he's going to go to Vegas, isn't he? Yeah, he's going back with Carroll. That makes so much sense. He's going to go back to Vegas. I mean, I know they have the same record as the Titans, but it's probably where he goes. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, what do you want Cameron Ward to do? Look how bad the team is. Defense sucks. Offense sucks. You can't run the ball. Guys, I don't know, man. I feel bad for the Titans, but they are just in, you know, they're not in the constant cycle of losing, though, like, you know, the Browns and the Jets, because at least again, the Titans actually, you know, have somewhat of a franchise going. But man, it's crazy to think, like, 2021, the run ended with Tannehill and Julio Jones in that team, A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry, and then they lost in 21 in the divisional round. They got a bye to the Bengals, and then it just all went downhill ever since. It's crazy. I remember 2022, they started the year 7-3, in line to go back to the playoffs, and they lost every single game, right? They lost 7 straight games, missed the playoffs. Oh, man. Malik Willis was supposed to be the future. Man. Just a series of unfortunate events for the Tennessee Titans. Indianapolis is better at every facet of the sport. Maybe I know the Titans kicker's not very good either. I don't know. The Colts Michael Badgley experiment, I don't know. Anyways, the Colts are really good. It sucks that Strider, their kicker's out for the season. Or Schrader, not Spencer Strider, Spencer Schrader. The Colts are just really good. I can't pick against this team. Give me Indianapolis at home. Colts minus 14.5. Next up, we move on to Sunday Night Football. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Aaron Rodgers revenge game. Yep. Rodgers revenge game against the Packers. Now, I know, again, the schedules are put out years in advance. You couldn't have just switched this to back in Lambeau. Like, Brady got his game in Tampa Bay. Sorry, in New Orleans. No. In New England. It sucks Rodgers will never get his game, obviously, at Lambeau Field. But here it is. He gets his game, though, at Soldier Field this year, because of course he does. I think they play out in Chicago, right? Yeah, it's great. Anyways, Aaron Rodgers' revenge game against the Green Bay Packers. He's not losing this game. Oh, he's not losing this game. Yes, the Steelers' defense sucks, okay, which is crazy because in past years it's been, you know, very good. The defense I'm concerned about Pittsburgh. That offense right now. I know Rodgers, you know, didn't throw his best balls last week, but I mean, those are just great plays by the Cincinnati secondary, and I can't believe I'm saying that. Like, yeah, the secondary of Cincinnati played really well against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but that offense right now at Pittsburgh's moving the ball. They are. I mean, again, they're down big in the third quarter. Flacco's got the Bengals playing. He's got them with the lead, and Pittsburgh, finds their way back in that game. Rodgers hits Freiermuth for the 70-yard touchdown, and then, okay, what happens? Joe Flacco leads a game-winning drive for Cincinnati. And then I watched Aaron Rodgers launch a ball 70 yards in the air on a Hail Mary and ultimately, come up short. But the Pittsburgh Steelers are a good football team. Again, I don't know who's going to win the AFC North. Could it be Cincinnati? Could it be Pittsburgh? Obviously, Baltimore's still looming as well with the Lamar return. But I believe this is a game that the Pittsburgh Steelers win. Guys, the Packers did not look good in Arizona. They barely got out of that game. They struggled to win that one. It took a late game drive. They worked down the field in a game that kind of, Jonathan Gannon, I believe, kind of gave to the Packers. I get it. You don't want to give Green Bay the ball back, so you go for it on 4th down, up by 3 points with, 5 minutes to go. But, just pin them deep. The Green Bay offense had not seen that much success against Arizona, and you gift them the ball on the 45-yard line on your own 45-yard line? I didn't like that move. I didn't like it at all. Green Bay wins the game. Josh Jacobs, I know, is dealing with an injury and an illness, but, he had 55 yards on 13 carries and 2 tutties. Jordan Love at 179 yards. The offense out of Green Bay did not look that good. Jacoby Brissett played a great game for Arizona. Obviously, he's not going to be the starting quarterback. It's Kyler Murray's team, but, hey, Jacoby Brissett had 280 yards for the Arizona Cardinals. They played well enough just to lose, which sounds like every single week of the Arizona Cardinals. Told you they were going to cover against Green Bay, and that's just what they do. They cover every single week. They just don't win games. Ooh, Monday night game next for them in Dallas? Oh, okay, maybe they don't cover that one because you really have to keep up with that team. Anyways, especially at Jerry's World. Anyways, though, I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers here, guys. I'm not sold on the Packers right now. I watched them play Arizona and almost lose that game, and probably should have lost that game if Gannon doesn't boot them deep. Or, I don't know. Again, Arizona's an injured team. No James Conner. They're playing Bam Knight, who's their number 1 back. Glad I picked him up in fantasy. They better not go back to Trey Benson as their starter. Why would you? Bam Knight's the truth. And again, a team that's just got Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison. Good players, but that's not a team that should be beating the Packers. And that almost happened to Green Bay. I look at Pittsburgh. Yes, the defense scares me, but you're at home. There's not a game Rodgers wants to win more than this. Actually, probably the Jets game he wanted to win a little bit more. But Rodgers is going to be amped for this one. And it's not like the Steelers are a bad team. This is a good Pittsburgh team that just lost in Cincinnati against one of the best offenses in the NFL. Again, the Bengals have found a quarterback. Joe Burrow's their guy, obviously, franchise guy. But Joe Flacco is a perfect bridge right now. He's not Jake Browning. All they need a quarterback to do is, be a skilled vet and get the ball to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And that's what the Bengals have done. So I put nothing into that Steelers loss against Cincinnati on the road short week on Thursday night. I put nothing into that. They're going to beat the Packers here. Defense just needs to lock in a little bit, but this is a game the Steelers will absolutely be doing everything to win for Aaron Rodgers. They already beat the Jets earlier in the season. They are going to beat the Packers now at home in Pittsburgh. Give me Steelers money line plus 145. Additionally, I will take the spread at plus 3.5 too. On to Monday Night Football. Ooh, it's the Kansas City Chiefs against the Washington Commanders. I'm going to take Washington plus 10.5. Now, that's very dependent on if Jaden Daniels plays or not. So I guess if Daniels does not play, I'm going to take Kansas City. I just expect, and again, a lot of this just goes with, will Washington be healthy? Now, did Washington look really bad last week against the Dallas Cowboys? They did. They looked really bad, but you got to consider, too, Jaden Daniels is playing with his 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th receivers. No Terry McLaurin, no Deebo Samuel. Obviously, Austin Eckler was the starting running back to start the season. Obviously, he's out for the year, too. It was an injured Commanders team going into Dallas, and obviously they couldn't take care of business. Okay, whatever. Daniels gets hurt in that game. Will he play this week? I don't know. Again, right now, Daniels has the questionable tag, and the latest report is Dan Quinn saying that Daniels' hamstring injury is not considered significant and won't be a long-term issue, but his status against the Chiefs is uncertain on Monday Night Football. If they're going to Marcus Mariota, the Chiefs are going to blow them out, right? This is the portion of the Chiefs' schedule that is not that difficult. No, they go to Buffalo next week. They probably lose that game. For as bad as the Bills have looked, Chiefs don't beat the Bills in the regular season. Unfortunately, we all know what happens in the playoffs. Nope, this is Josh Allen's year, right? Right? Yeah. Anyways, I look at this game between Kansas City and Washington, and I'm like, all right, if Daniels plays, if Deebo plays, and McLaurin plays, I think the Commanders can keep it pretty tight. Because I'm not sold on Kansas City, okay? Yeah, they've looked good the last couple weeks. They got Rashee Rice back last week. Great. Again, free for Anyways, they got Rice back last week. They beat the Lions. Whatever. Again, not going to get into that again. If you want my thoughts about the Lions game, go check out last week's video or go check out Greedo Plays Clips on TikTok. Did a whole video about that. Anyways, though, yes, at the same time, like, have the Chiefs been mid the season? Yes. They've won 4 or 5, and they looked really good. It's the Raiders, though. We do need to pump the brakes a little bit. All right, the Raiders, bottom 3 team in football. Titans, Raiders, Jets. Okay, they're all really bad. Dolphins. Oh, my goodness, the AFC is horrible. All 4 of those teams are just god-awful, and they play in the same conference. That's insane. Like, who's the worst team in the NFC right now? The Saints. The Saints beat all 4 of those teams, though. Like, that's just how bad the AFC is. Anyways, though, I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit with Kansas City. Like, yeah, they're looking better. They get Rashee Rice back. Defense is playing very well, obviously. They pitch a shutout. Wasn't that the first shutout in Andy Reid's tenure with the Chiefs? I think it was. It's crazy. I mean, it just takes playing against Geno Smith, right? God, the Raiders are so bad. If the Commanders get their guys, though, I think they can keep up in a shootout against Kansas City. If Daniels, Debo, and McLaurin all play, I think McLaurin and Debo probably will play. Daniels is the bigger question, in my opinion. I believe Debo and Terry, like, they were, almost coming back for that game against Dallas. They both, again, could not play. I think they get both the receivers back. Daniels, I think, is probably a 50-50. If it's Mariota, I don't think they cover, just because I like Marcus Mariota. I don't think he can stay in this game against the Chiefs. The Chiefs defense is good, don't get me wrong. I'm concerned about the Washington defense against Kansas City. I mean, the Cowboys score every single time they touch the ball. Guys, that late second quarter, Commanders and Cowboys. Commanders get a big touchdown to close. Well, we thought closed the first half in the second quarter. Daniels rushing touchdown. Okay, great. Like 40 seconds left. First play of that Dallas drive. Obviously, again, Dallas gets the ball at the 30-yard line. You need 20 yards to get into field goal range. They get sacked on first down. I'm like, all right, cool. Field goal maybe still in play. Dak shoots one over the top to George Pickens. Javonte Williams runs the ball up the middle that Dallas was trying to get better field positioning with. No, he runs it to the 1-yard line. Then Dallas scores on the Jake Ferguson touchdown. Again, the Washington defense sucks, and I'm concerned about it. But, again, if their guys play, I think they can keep up in a shootout against Kansas City. If they don't play, Kansas City probably blows them out. So, again, that's just really what this game comes down to for me is the health of what Washington's got. Again, Kansas City's going to gear up for a really difficult, in my opinion, 4-game stretch. Again, they had Vegas and Washington, and now after this, Buffalo on the road, bye week in Denver is going to be extremely difficult. Indianapolis, that's the toughest team to play in football right now, and then Thanksgiving in Dallas. Tough games coming up. And they close the year with, like, the Raiders and the Titans. And the Texans. Anyways, though, I think Commanders cover if Daniels, Debo, and McLaurin play. They don't cover if they don't play. Regardless, Chiefs should win. I'd be shocked if Washington went in there and won. I'd be happy if they did. I don't think they're going to, though. So give me Chiefs money line. Again, I wouldn't play minus 620, but give me the Chiefs to win. The Commanders, though, I think can cover if their offensive players play. Folks, that'll do it for our Week 8 NFL predictions here on the channel. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back on Saturday for both our best bets, money lines, and spreads, and our best player props as well. And we'll be back next week for Week 9 of the NFL season. Again, next Tuesday, same exact time, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, again, for our weekly NFL best bets or predictions. Folks, thank y'all for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you disagree with any of the picks. Folks, thank y'all for watching. And Mamba forever.